Hey everybody, and welcome to Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about DayZ, Battlefield, and all things PC gaming related. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah. My screen name is Germ Gaming, Germ spelled with a J, and I am joined by my co-host, Dave.
What's up, guys? I am Dave, the not-so-evil Viking 13, TM copyright 2013.
And we are not joined by Joel/Wilson. He may be joining us later, but right now he is indisposed at a Christmas dinner, believe it or not.
Happy New Year.
Happy a week and a half after the New Year. Anyway,
much.
So let's jump right into the news. The news about DayZ specifically. It's funny, we kind of started this podcast. My idea was to start it in December, so we'd have at least 2 podcasts under our belt before the DayZ standalone came out. And then the DayZ standalone has still not come out yet. And
the Mayans were right.
Yeah, well, so fortunately we actually have an update now on the DayZ standalone, and of course I'm going to ask the person who knows way more about DayZ than I do because he pays attention. Dave, can you please tell us absolutely everything there is to know about the DayZ standalone? Go.
No, I cannot, because there's like a beastly amount of information out there as of Monday. I'll direct you guys to links in the description to check out the whole blog for yourself. I'm not going to cover all of this. But the good news is Rocket is back from vacation. The DayZ team is back at Bohemia, and they are rocking and rolling. Obviously, the question that everybody had was, where's standalone? It's now 2013. Rocket had said back in, I think it was like October, that if we don't get DayZ standalone out by the end of the year, we failed, etc. Well, here's the good news. Yes, it's delayed, but it's delayed for some pretty good reasons. Essentially what happened was they changed the scope of the project. Originally, the plan was that by the end of the year they wanted to release a souped up version of the mod. Basically, the new architecture where the server controls what's going on, so you have less hacking, maybe tweak a few weapons and stuff like that, but basically just the mod that you pay for. And as things progressed and they kind of kept expanding their plans, they decided that's not enough. Like, if we're going to release this thing, we want it to be big. Like, we want people to actually have something there to buy that's new. And let's not have it to be like the War Z release. So yeah, there's a gigantic update on the blog. All kinds of awesomeness. They have a completely new inventory system. They scrapped everything that had to do with the old ARM inventory entirely out of the game. It's gone. They nuked it from orbit. And one of their programmers has gone in and done a whole new inventory, and it's actually really exciting sounding. Like, there's so many more options in the inventory as far as slots go. Like, for clothing, you have slots for eyewear and hats and, oh gosh, War Z flashback. Pants and shirts, and you can even just wear your underwear if you want to. Like, this is Oblivion all over again. And actually, yes, boys and girls, that means you can hold people at gunpoint and strip them naked.
Well, but you have to be careful doing that, because the blog post says that you can actually transfer diseases using clothing, which
that is correct.
Is going to lead to all of us being extremely paranoid and running around naked all of the time. We'll be running around naked and pooping.
And then you get infected.
I think this is going to be Lord of the Flies very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be nasty. I'm actually excited. Like, this is going to be absolutely brutal.
So I'm really curious to hear, like, the rest of their plans for disease. Like, I like the idea of disease. It makes sense that it would be there in a post-apocalyptic world, but how are you going to handle it? Like, you don't want it to be like you're running or, well, maybe they do want it to be this way, like the Oregon Trail, where you start out with good intentions, well-equipped, and you're doing really well, and then everyone dies. Like, you know, you go from going, everyone's doing great, until you find the wrong can of beans that's been affected, and everybody just dies.
You have dysentery.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, I'm sure, because the game is very difficult, but the game is also very rewarding when you survive, and I'm sure they don't want to make it so that random chance just annihilates you. I mean, other than other players annihilating you. So, how do you think they're going to handle disease? Like, it sounds really cool. I'm just a little bit nervous.
From what Rocket said in different, I guess, Reddit comments and stuff like that, there's going to be somewhere around like 12 different diseases, and there'll be different ways to catch them and spread them, and they're all going to behave realistically, and each disease will have a cure or a fix for it. I think the idea is that once you get to that point where you're geared up, and in the mod, once you get geared up, you basically go hunt people or just don't play anymore. he wants there to be something that kind of keeps you on your toes. So maybe you're all geared up, you're doing pretty good, you're on top of the DayZ world, and then you get dysentery, and now you have to go to one of these hospitals and search for supplies. Like, you're going to need to get your friends in there to cover you because you're stopping to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes, which, by the way, Joel found a post, I think it was Matt Lightfoot was talking about it. Rocket is actually, he was in the military, and there's apparently some sort of like emergency bathroom going like system that you follow for like going to the bathroom in the field, and they mocapped it, they motion captured it in the studio. And he said that they're gonna have to post pictures sometime because of course everyone was like taking pictures of the mocap, and it was apparently hilarious. It won't be too graphic, he was saying, but like it will be the actual like military style emergency I gots to go with particle effects, he said.
Oh my.
Yeah, I think the purpose of the disease is just to add a bit more depth to surviving, where it's not just, okay, I have food, I have water, I have guns, I win.
See, what I'm really hoping for, and I know one of the big things that's going to help this, is that the DayZ standalone should have dealt with duping, right? We won't be able to dupe anymore?
Yeah, duping is going to be fixed because of the new inventory system, which, along with that, is going to come like weapon add-ons and stuff, because weapons are no longer just single objects, like the M16A4 with the ACOG scope. It's now the base M16 platform with a scope attachment, and while that might not all be working as soon as it releases, eventually you'll be able to modify weapons and other objects with like add-ons and removing stuff and all kinds of cool customization. Kind of like I think it was Stalker Call of Pripyat went nuts with the customization, and it was awesome.
All right, yeah, so the thing I'm wondering about DayZ when it releases is, after a couple months of playing the mod, we had enough good gear and we had enough vehicles, or we knew where we could find vehicles when ours got destroyed, that we weren't really that worried. Zombies were no longer really a threat. We would just outrun them or kite them through buildings. We had plenty of medical supplies because, you can go to a hospital and get like 14 bandages and no one's bleeding that much. So we had plenty of bandages. We had a decent amount of weapons. I mean, you can, once you have a vehicle, you can really open the world up a lot more, and getting weapons is not a problem because you can just hit 4 or 5 towns in a night, no problem. And it just got to the point where it was kind of like, all right, this is it. And what I'm hoping is that most of DayZ, the standalone, is played like the first month or two of the mod was, where like if you had a shotgun with a decent amount of rounds, or if you had a Lee Enfield and a couple bandages and a can of beans, like you felt like you were doing pretty well. If you lived for a day or two, you felt like you were doing well. A vehicle was something like, if you saw a vehicle going through the woods, you're like, oh my goodness, what is that? And we kind of got a little spoiled, and I'm hoping, especially after playing Wasteland and Private Hives and stuff, I'm hoping we're not also spoiled on having vehicles and guns laying around, that we aren't up for the brutal challenge, because the things like disease and stuff, it hopefully will make the game a lot harder while still remaining lots of fun. And I'm just hoping that we adjust to that pretty quickly and don't start whining. I hope they make the new systems fun, even while you have cholera and it's terrible. I hope that somehow they've thought about making it fun enough that you don't mind all the suffering you're enduring.
I think that once the duping's fixed and the hacking is really cracked down on with VAC or VAC and everything in the standalone, that'll help get back to that original survival feeling. And once things are a little bit tighter and weapons aren't as easily available, and once you have more ways of interacting with players besides either just talking to them or shooting them, we'll have some more interesting player interactions again. And I really think the diseases will help the end game, where it's the environment itself that's kind of coming after you. Like, you can't just hide out in the woods like I like to do and just enjoy your merry life in the zombie apocalypse anymore.
It would be cool if, like, winter came. I don't know if this is really in their plans or not, but maybe it could be added to the game later. But what if the seasons actually change? So while sleeping in tents out in the middle of the woods is fine during the summer, when winter comes, what if you... I think I've mentioned this in a podcast before. What if, like, you had to take shelter in houses, or your life was a lot easier if you took shelter in houses, which then you had to fight over as a resource? Something like that. Something, like you said, to give the in-game persistence, because... as it stands now, I honestly haven't heard anything that definitively tells us that, what gives us a reason why we're going to be playing this for 2 years, They haven't really said that yet, or haven't given any hints as to what that might be. Like, I really enjoy DayZ, but if it was just the mod, I think they have to do a little bit more with the in-game for me to want to keep playing it for a couple years.
I think that if the mod had stayed in the state that it was in late June, I would still be playing it as much right now. It's just that it got too easy, and between the hacking and the other issues, I decided that it's just more fun to wait for the most part. You know, I still play it now and again and have a few adventures here and there, but I do miss the persistence and that sense of survival. And, you know, I'm putting these hours in and I'm working hard and it can all go wrong at any minute, but it's my story that makes it so interesting. It's the story of my character that kind of hooks you in, you know?
Yeah. And that's another thing. I'm really curious, like, what the character survival options are going to be, meaning, like, are we just going to live for, 30 days or something and then the character just never dies? Or, I don't know. It just feels like there's an opportunity to do something with that. But I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of spitballing here, but I just want to see them develop this a little bit more. Like, it started out as a mod. It was just a little concept and it was an awesome concept. But I fully plan on playing DayZ for quite some time when it comes out. And I'm really excited, but I'm also a little nervous to see what their plans are to make me want to play it for a long time.
Yeah, I think there's good things coming. Looking at this last blog update, and if you guys have not read it yet, you need to go to the description, click on that link, and go check it out, because there's a bunch of screenshots and cool stuff that I'll probably be showing right now, and you can go check those out yourself and get the high-res versions. There are a lot of good things coming, and I think that once the initial alpha version's out, and these patches continue to come out, and he keeps adding features, there's going to be a lot to keep you coming back, and a lot to make that survival experience and make your story more interesting.
Yeah, I think so. Now, what else on the blog post? What else was really major? I mean, it's not that long of a blog post. Everyone should go read it. I'll try to link it in the description of this video as well. Or if you're listening to the podcast through iTunes or something, I guess you'll just have to go look it up yourself. But
use that Google foo.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to find. DayZdev.tumblr.com. I think it's funny that they're using a Tumblr.
I think it's funny that their template's broken too, and you can't resize the images by default. You have to go into the HTML and pull the images to get the full-sized ones. But
yeah. So what's the plan for where are we at right now? Like, what's our timeline for this?
Yeah. So basically, the blog talked about all the fun stuff coming, but the question that everybody has is, okay, it's delayed. What does that mean? And the answer to that is, well, they don't really know. They want it to be something worth buying. They want it to be good. They want it to be mostly stable. But it's going to be, I think, at least a month to a month and a half before we'll see an alpha release. I think February looks pretty good. March at the latest, because Rocket is going away to climb mountains in April. So that's going to be cutting it close there in March. There's actually a closed test beginning probably in the next week with about 1,000 testers, like YouTubers and streamers and fan site owners, stuff like that. They're going to be the frontline testers testing these initial builds now that it's into the new year, and get it ready for the rest of us, because I'm not important enough to play.
Well, actually, that's a good point to make, because probably a decent amount of more people will probably comment on your videos, but I might get a couple comments too, because I have from time to time. But no, we are not in the closed test. Neither of us are. So if you would like us to be, spam the DayZ devs and ask. I don't know if that's a smart idea or not.
Are we going that route? Is this happening right now?
I'm not sure.
Are we those people?
No, I don't think so. Actually, hold on. Let me add in Joel. He's ready. Making the call.
Earth to Joel. Joel, do you read?
Hey, guys.
Hey, we're live, just so you know, before you say any of the horrible, offensive things you're probably planning on. I'm just kidding, guys. Joel is a teddy bear.
Really, guys? I just got back from a delayed Christmas party with my parents because we all had the flu, so...
Yeah, but man, it's been like 2.5 weeks since Christmas.
Well, the flu was bad. I can't remember if I said this on the last podcast, what our New Year's Eve was like, what my New Year's Eve was like. Did I tell you guys?
You were going to be editing wedding videos.
No, that was before the end of, it was like December 21st, the Mayan calendar end. No, my wife and I, our New Year's Eve, we celebrated by just being completely sick, having the flu, laying in bed, barely awake till midnight, and we toasted with NyQuil and went to bed at midnight.
Wow. I honestly have already forgotten what I did for New Year's. No, Dave and I were playing. Were we playing Wasteland?
I think we played some Battlefield or something.
Battlefield. Yeah, we were playing something. Wow, how lame of us that we have already forgotten.
It wasn't that important. All right, guys, you heard it here first. I guarantee Joel will be the first person in DayZ standalone to catch the flu and probably die from it.
But yeah, anyway, back to what we were talking about. No, Dave, I don't think we're actually suggesting anyone spam the devs to let us into the closed thing. We're not asking for any special handouts or anything like that. It would be super cool if we were in it, but it's okay. Like, for all we know, they've picked a bunch of their friends to be in it or something. So we don't. It's not like we deserve to be in it. We're just really big fans.
And
but
it is going to be a pretty rough test.
Probably.
Anyway, it's going to be pretty hardcore testing.
Which, it's good. From reading this blog post, it kind of sounds like that when the game releases, it's not going to be an alpha at that point. It sounds like it's pretty much going to be a beta.
Yeah,
I think betas are generally considered feature complete, so it's still going to be an alpha.
You think so? Okay.
I think it'll just be. I think it's going to be so much more than what DayZ already is. I think there's going to be a lot more features. Let's say DayZ right now is at 30% of what the game should be. I think the game, when it comes out, it's going to be at like 50%, 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd say I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and we're excited. I mean, I'm hoping that. Is there an NDA on the closed test? Do you know?
No, this is the cool part. Like, I like the way they're doing this development. They're being more open with these blog posts, and a bunch of those closed testers are streamers, and they're going to get to stream like all the footage of them testing, like constantly, like YouTube videos, streams, just totally open. That's exciting.
Now I'm really bummed that we're missing out on it.
But, yeah, I know, right?
But I'm definitely going to be watching it. It should be a really good time. But yeah, I mean, it is going to be awesome. But, I just thought to throw this in there. If one of you listening happens to have like a bunch of spare invites laying around, I doubt it works that way. But if you did happen to have a bunch of, a couple of them laying around, we wouldn't say no, but we're absolutely not asking for handouts or anything like that.
Maybe just a little bit from me.
I told Dave, though, I was like, hey, at least we can watch it. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's a win-win scenario.
I'm be so excited just to see it. It's okay. I'll let everyone else go through servers not working and stuff for the first couple days. Like, I'm okay with that. It's all right. And actually, that's probably a good time. Should we go ahead and announce the thing for next week, or save that for later?
Yeah, Joel has no idea what's going on, but let's go for it.
Yeah, Joel, you can just stop me if necessary, and we'll talk about this off the air. But all right, a comment, and this might be a long rambling thing. Comments we get a lot on a lot of our DayZ videos are, "Hey, can we play with you guys?"
No.
Well, no. Here's the thing. When we play DayZ, not on private servers and not on Wasteland or anything. Well, I guess Wasteland isn't DayZ at all, but I kind of think of them. I lump them in the same category. When we play DayZ, we're pretty serious. Like, we joke around and stuff on videos, but when it comes to our characters
Dave
living...
and Jeremiah are very serious.
Well, yes, but even you, Joel. Like,
I know.
You don't just waste your life in the game on dumb stuff. Like, we're serious about finding vehicles, getting weapons, surviving, stuff like that. And it's not that we wouldn't love to do it with you guys, but... Well, let's just say earlier this summer we did an experiment, or Dave did an experiment, and that
guys are crazy.
It taught us a lot. Dave, would you like to tell us about your grand experiment?
And of course, this was Joel's idea to hold a mock church service in-game in DayZ. And if I remember correctly, we did have the first actual player-hosted event in DayZ. And it kind of went as you expected. We were just getting set up in the church. We moved the location at the last minute to keep people from logging in with C4 and leveling the church in one go.
Which stopped them for a whole 5 minutes.
Before the giant flock of bandits raced from Electro to Cherno to kill us all. We're getting set up in the church okay, this might go pretty well. People were joining the server, people were DDoSing the server because there's 1,000 of them trying to get in. And then we heard the helicopter coming. And it smashed into the back of the church. And then the gunfire started. It was a massacre. For a while, we actually had a service going, which was pretty exciting. And then Joel got assassinated, and then I got assassinated, and then the battle broke out. It was chaos, but it was a lot of fun.
The best part was when people were asking, "Where's the pastor? Where's the pastor?" It's just
after we both
it just made me laugh.
and it was a lot of fun, but we lost our characters, and. Again, it was fun, but we don't want to have that happen on a regular basis. So we want to play with you guys, but there are enough of you that have asked us to play that chances are someone, if we put out like an open announcement that, hey, we're going to be playing on this DayZ server, with our real characters and stuff, chances are a couple people would sign up just to try to murder us, or which is fine because that's totally fair in the rules of DayZ, but they would just try to grief us or hack. That's more what we're worried about, is being hacked.
That's more what I'm worried about. Is hacks are just so pervasive right now in DayZ because there's almost no way to stop some of the better hacks. They're just everywhere.
So with the standalone,
when
the standalone comes out, we're gonna try to come up with a better plan. We'll have to see how it looks when it comes out. We don't really know anything about it as far as that goes, but we do have a plan because we do want to play with you guys. Like, playing with you guys sounds like it'll probably be a lot of fun. So we have a plan. We're gonna play Wasteland with you. If you don't know what Wasteland is, go check out some of our recent videos about it. Wasteland is an Arma 2 custom mission. If you haven't played much Arma 2, if you just play DayZ, all you really need to know is picture Shinaris wide open with cars and guns everywhere.
And no zombies to get in your way.
And no zombies. You die constantly. You kill people constantly. You can find a Chevy Suburban that goes 110 kilometers an hour with a minigun mounted on top of it. Like,
America.
It's just total anarchy and chaos, and it is a ton of fun.
Yes.
In that game, it doesn't really matter if someone's hacking. Like, it's a little bit annoying, but so what? You just respawn right next to a vehicle with guns in it. So we want to play Wasteland with you guys because we think it'll be a really awesome time.
Yes,
so
indeed.
we are planning on doing that on January the 17th, Thursday night. We normally record the podcast on Thursday nights, kind of letting you behind the curtain here.
Oh, that's a good plan, guys.
Yeah, so
I'm actually going to be able to play Thursday night.
You are?
Yeah,
All right.
that Thursday should work.
All right, Dave, we'll have to pick a new time. Just text me later. But yeah, next Thursday, there probably won't be a podcast, just because unless all right, let me back up. If the standalone releases, all of these plans are scrapped.
Yeah, screw you guys.
We will not play with any of
standalone.
you. Yeah.
But
Screw y'all.
since that's probably not going to happen, our plan is on the 17th of January, Thursday evening, instead of recording a podcast, we are going to play Wasteland with you guys. What do you need to play? Simple. You just need to have Arma 2, combined ops, and you need to have Teamspeak. What we're going to do is, if you aren't following us on Twitter already, go follow at EvilViking13 or at GermGaming, Germ with a J.
At Evil Viking, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Cheers.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not 13 at the end?
Nope, not for the Twitter. It's very confusing.
Okay, it's fine. I spelled my name with a J, and I regret it. But, yeah, anyway. So follow us on Twitter, because we're going to tweet out more details when it gets closer. But our
Give
plan
those out
is...
one more time just to make sure that they got them, because we're going back and forth.
Twitter, at Evil Viking and at Germ Gaming. And you can follow Casual Shenanigans. Yes, that is Casual Shenanigans with no N. I say that every podcast. I'll probably keep having to do it. Although a decent amount of you have started following us, so it must not be that hard to find. But, yeah, we'll tweet out more details, but you need to have TeamSpeak 3 installed, have everything configured. What we're probably going to do is get a bunch of you to join a public TeamSpeak server. We're not going to give out our private one, just in case like a hacker does join up. We don't want them to have something new to spam later on. But yeah, we'll
also
give out
known as Yakko's computer.
Yeah, but we'll give out a public TeamSpeak address. Once everyone joins, we'll probably break up into voice channels based on what team you end up on, because there's 3 teams. There's Independence, Op Force, and Blue, whatever. I forget what they're called. There's the green team that can kill everybody, and then the 2 lame teams. But yeah, we'll kind of, wherever the server lumps us into teams, depending on how many people are joining up, that's what we'll do, and we'll just plan on playing for a couple hours, just running around, killing each other, having fun, doing the objectives, whatever we want. Crashing cars.
Hopefully servers won't crash.
Killing
now,
Joel.
Are we going to use our real names, or not our real names, but our names that everyone knows us by, or use our made-up names that we use sometimes when we play?
I will probably switch to just Evil Viking 13 for simplicity's sake.
All right, I'll probably switch mine over too. Usually we have other names on servers just in case we get recognized. Again, we don't want people to grief us for no good reason. But yeah,
this is the internet after all.
Yeah, we'll switch to our good names that you guys know us by, and yeah, we'll run around and have fun. It'll be a really awesome time. So again, that's January the 17th. If you have any more details, just tweet at us, and one of us will do our best to respond to you as quickly as possible. But those are really all the details we have, because we finalized this right before we hit record. So
And yet
Yeah.
that was a long announcement.
It was. I'm sorry. I tend to overshare details. So, yeah, any of you can just interrupt me and tell me to shut up at any time. But
Today on
Joel-
Life Stories with Jeremiah.
well, all right, let me tell you about lunch. Yeah, Joel, it is a good thing you can show up because you just bring such a humor and a brevity. And the other day, you murdered me for no good
I'm
reason.
only gonna play as if I get to lead a squad.
I mean, if you can dupe any suckers into following you around, I guess that's up to you, but...
We're gonna call ourselves the Expendables.
Alrighty. The other day we were playing Wasteland and Joel murdered me for no good reason, so I still harbor a little bit of resentment against him. All I did was shoot out his car windows. I wasn't even shooting him. He was parked. If I wanted to kill him, he'd be dead.
I had a sweet coupe.
It was sweeter. Like, it was ventilated. Anyway, that's going to be the plan. It should be a really fun time. And we're excited about playing with you guys.
So excited.
No, we are. Woo! Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to
We
this
can
for
add
a
a
while.
clap
'cause-
track in there. Applause.
Sorry, that was the awkward silence where I was trying to tab up the list of things we're talking about tonight.
I am kind of excited though because the last event was the church event, and that was so much fun. Like seeing everyone's perspectives afterwards and hearing all the stories that came out of that.
I can't believe we haven't talked about that before. I just had to say, I think the funniest part was how many people were like,
You guys know you're gonna die, right? You're gonna die right away, right? Do you guys know someone's gonna bomb you? Hey, guys, let's bomb the church.
oh man, that was so original. It's like, oh my gosh. You might have to like cut out some words about to say, but I'll hold my tongue.
What I think was actually
For the
one of the
first
funniest
time.
parts about the church service was the DDoS. Like, didn't we go through 2 server DDoSes before we
That
got
was
a working
pretty-
one?
I was quite surprised at how many people actually wanted to do it, but
Well, I mean, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised. How many, like, 30-something thousand people watched the invitation video?
I think it was
yeah, it was something like that, wasn't it?
was a pretty crazy
the
number.
afternoon that we were hosting it. It was I think about 42,000 views of the video, the invitation.
Yeah, so I guess it's not unreasonable to think that 1,000 of those people decided to show up, but
3 servers later.
it was still pretty awesome.
Hopefully, the DayZ standalone, when it finally comes out, hopefully they're going to add some sort of in-message game type of thing where you could actually post something or notes or things like
Yeah.
that to be able to add more scenarios like that, because we'll definitely have to come up with them. I've got some ideas of some stuff I haven't even told you guys about yet that I think will be
Oh,
quite
my.
fun. That will be quite fun to do, yeah.
Things
Kinda
that are in
keep
the dark recesses.
Hey, holding a church service. I created that. How dark can that be? Other than leading people to their death in a church.
Right.
That's
Right.
pretty dark.
Wow.
We had a contest last week. I Guess That Sound, where we played a sound from a video game, and we had you guys guess, and whoever guessed, I was going to buy them a game from the Steam sale. But we kind of did a dummy. Someone
We?
posted on Dave's... Well, we both did. I'm gonna... there's enough blame to go around, okay?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Someone guessed the sound, and they posted on Evil Vikings channel, or sent you a message or a comment or what. Like, they
All of the
contacted
above,
you.
actually.
They contacted you and guessed it. Someone also emailed casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just like you can, to be a part of the show. And they guessed it. And Dave and I did not communicate that to each other before I told the guy who
Are we
emailed.
giving 2 gifts away right now?
Well, yes. I already told him he was a winner, so you know who you are. Guy who emailed in that I already sent you your copy of FTL, which you wanted. Enjoy it. It's very brutal. Yeah, so you actually weren't the first, but I'd already told you were, so you still got the prize. So congratulations to Zachariah1688. He was the winner on my side. And Dave, what was the screen name of whoever won for you?
On my end, the day that I uploaded the podcast, Ludis65 posted well, he typed VSAT from Fallout, but it's VATS.
Yeah, we're assuming that he knows what he's talking about.
He was
So,
really typing that one fast, trying to get it in there first.
I've already sent the game to Zachariah1688, but Ludis, go ahead and email the show, casualshenanigans@gmail.com, just so we know it's you. We just told like 1,000 people. Anyway, just email the show. I don't know, prove it's you somehow. We'll leave that up to you. And we will set you up with a shiny new game.
Yeah, actually, Ludis, if you could send the email and then go ahead and PM me a YouTube message with your email address in that YouTube message, just so I can link it to your account that posted the comment and make sure that it's actually you.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Good thinking.
And what we have for you, based off of our discussion from the last podcast talking about our favorite games, I actually have a brand new shiny copy of the original Witcher Enhanced Edition Director's Cut.
The better game.
Nice.
The Witcher. Brutalness in your
Yeah.
face.
So contact us. Thanks to everyone who played, and come back later. Joel, you suggested that we do another contest this week. I don't know if you think I'm made of money.
Dude, I have a gift. I have a copy of Half-Life 2 as a Steam gift.
Oh.
So my question is, can I either gift it to one of you guys to gift it to whoever wins, or
Yes.
I mean, I can do it. That doesn't matter. I don't know how that works, but I have it. So if
Well, we'll
know,
save
we
it
can
for a
s-
future. We don't have to. We don't have to keep doing contests. We're gonna spoil these people.
oh yeah, that's true.
We'll save it. We'll save it.
Spoil.
Please, sir, could I have some more?
Although anyone who's listening to this who doesn't already own Half-Life 2, I must sincerely question your judgment, but it's all right. Okay, and actually, Zachariah1688 sent in a couple listener questions, like you can,
Ooh, tasty
casual
bits.
shenanigans at gmail.com. And remember, if you send them in a soundbite as an MP3, we might even play them on the show if your voice sounds cool. You know, like if you don't hear lots of yelling in the background or playing music or basically any of the things Joel does instead of putting on headphones, we will happily play your question. But he wrote in with two questions.
Sandwich. Sorry, guys, I'm back.
Yeah. All right, his first question. What is the shooter, first or third person, from years ago that you would like to see come back from the dead? Mine is Star Wars Battlefront. So, Joel, you joined us last. Why don't you go first?
Gosh, I am gonna totally agree with that guy. Battlefront.
I never
so
played
agree.
Battlefront 2, but the original Battlefront on the PS2, I think I had it on. That game was awesome. I played so much of that game.
Battlefront 2 still kind of holds up.
Really?
At least the space the ship fighting, space fighting.
Okay.
That on the ground battle, the graphics are not so great, but actually in space, it's a lot of fun. Like, I don't know how much it is. Next time Steam sells, you should try it out. That game was a blast because you could fly out from a ship, shoot other people, and then land in the other person's ship and then destroy it from the inside out. It was a lot of fun.
That just sounds awesome on paper.
Because, Dave, I think, did you guys ever see the beta footage of
Yes.
Battlefront 3?
Yes.
It looked awesome where you were like battling on the ground, you fly in a spaceship up into space, battle in space, and then land in a ship in space. I was like, actually, on this game, the Star Wars podcast I listen to, if you guys like Star Wars, I definitely recommend listening to the forcecast.net. Really good. But anyways, those guys, they know a lot about. They had an interview with one of the guys from LucasArts about Battlefront 3 and what happened with it. And it's a crazy story. Basically what happened is as Battlefront 3 was being developed, it was nearing completion. They weren't sure it was actually going to make a lot of money. So for some reason they decided to switch over to the game. I think it was called Haze. I believe it was Haze. I could be
Are you
wrong.
kidding me?
I believe it was that.
We got
But
denied Battlefront 3 for Haze?
No. It wasn't actually that. It was a different reason. They thought Haze was going to sell more, and so what they hoped is to make Haze. They were using the money for Star Wars Battlefront 3 towards Haze, developing it, thinking it was going to make a crap load of money, and then afterwards they were going to use that extra money for Battlefront 3 to make it even better. But then LucasArts found out they were squandering the money and all this kind of problems, and then they ended up getting shut down. But apparently Battlefront 3 was literally like 90% done.
Really, as much as I hate to credit EA with anything, what we really need is someone like EA to step in and say, hey, I wouldn't mind, throwing a couple $1 million at that to finish it. Someone with deep pockets and then just finish it and release it, because it would probably sell really well just on nostalgia, if nothing else. Hey, it could happen. Duke Nukem Forever came out. Hey, my phone is ringing. I'm sorry, everybody.
What were you just saying about background stuff like a few minutes ago?
Speaking of Star Wars, with the whole acquisition of Disney now, I was just reading an article literally like 10 minutes ago saying that ABC is now in talks because the acquisition just finally went through literally like a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. So it's completely legit. Dude, seriously, tell your mom to stop calling you.
It is my mom.
It is your mom?
Let me send her a text message.
Jeremiah, are you using like some
Just tell her to
ancient
text me.
70s phone, like with the... Is it off-white, Jeremiah? Are you using an off-white
No,
telephone from the 70s?
I'm using I think it's the ringtone the phones in the Matrix use.
Have you guys seen those actual giant handsets you can buy now for cell phones? My mom has one. You plug it into your cell phone, and it's like those old original giant banana handsets.
What?
So she has her cell phone in her purse, and this long, like, spirally coil French, like those like curly fries wires coming up to the bananas like handset, and she uses that because she is kind of creeped out that like radio microwaves are going to destroy her, which probably cell phones are anyways, but man, it looks hilarious.
That's awesome.
I didn't know your mom was such a hipster.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because it's like she's walking down the road, it looks like she stole like from a payphone, just like ripped it off.
Okay, so Joel's choice is Star Wars Battlefront, Rabbit Trail. Dave, do you
Wow.
have a first-person shooter you'd like to come back? First or third? I'm sorry, first or third?
You know, even though it hasn't been gone that long, I have to say the Stalker series, because that was my all-time favorite shooter series. And Joel, please don't kill me for this tomorrow at work, but I would actually say that I got equal enjoyment out of the Stalker series as the Half-Life series. I love them both, but I mean, to me, the Stalker series was just unbelievable. I loved it to death.
Are we really waiting for that game to come back, though? I mean, they put out a new game in the last couple of years. Aren't they just in between games at the moment?
No, 2010, the studio was shut down last year.
Did not know that.
Aw, Dave, 2010. I've been waiting since 2007 for Half-Life.
So much
Shut up.
bitterness.
Yeah, well,
Just
I'm,
kidding.
I'm a little bit on Joel's team here, but
No, I agree with you though, Dave. I mean, I understand. I mean, you are a loot meister, so nothing can hold you back from that. Actually, my friend James sent me a picture today. It made me laugh so hard. It's just a picture of a skeleton on a pile of just gold coins, and his hand is reaching for like this golden cup at the top. And it just made me laugh. I was like, that is Dave playing Borderlands or any game with loot. It's like, gotta have one more, and you're gonna die like that. Just one more piece of loot.
And you know, what it was with Stalker for me was, besides the absolutely awesome post-Soviet apocalyptic Ukrainian atmosphere, which I'm a sucker for Cold War stuff, so that was awesome to begin with. But the fact that the game could be pretty brutal, like back in 2007, 2008, when games were starting to get a little bit easier, Call of Duty style, and more of just an entertainment experience, like that was a game that was not afraid to kill you 10 minutes into the game when you made a bad decision.
mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of glad to see with like DayZ and some other games coming out recently that developers aren't still afraid to make a game that's kind of brutal.
Well, you know what should happen, and maybe I'm just spitballing here, and if this is sacrilegious to you, let me know. But now that THQ is broke and they're selling off all their licenses, whoever buys Metro 2033 should also buy a bunch of the devs who worked on Stalker, and they should roll them in together and make Metro 2033 that much, or Metro Last Light, I'm sorry, make Metro Last Light that much better.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because a lot of the original Metro 33 or 2033, whatever it was, team, they came from the Stalker studio.
Ah, well, that explains it.
Like the underground areas feel really similar in Stalker, and
Yeah,
they're both awesome.
They do. If you told me those games were set in the same universe, I'd probably believe you.
Yeah, it feels legit.
My choice is maybe going to be a little weird. I want the James Bond series to come back. My first shooter, other than playing GoldenEye with friends way back in the day and stuff, my first shooter was on my GameCube, and it was Agent Under Fire and Nightfire. I got them at the same
Nightfire
time.
was good.
They were awesome because they weren't so concerned with like being a super hardcore dark story and like amazing mechanics. It was just like, if you accept the premise that here's an evil bad guy with his evil base and all his henchmen, and you're James Bond and you're going to go take him out. It was very Pierce Brosnan Bond era, which is who you were playing as. And you just got to infiltrate these high-tech secret bases with all your gadgets and take people out, and you could replay missions over and over to get high scores. And I just had a ton of fun playing it, even though it was pretty casual. And then the multiplayer was awesome. More shooter multiplayer needs to be like that. Do you guys remember like the spider mines where you would shoot out the grenade launcher and it would break up into like 10 smaller grenades and carpet the
yeah.
ground?
Oh, dude, yeah, that game was awesome. I love that game. I think I had that one on PC actually.
I think it was Nightfire where they had that castle level in multiplayer,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you could use the zip lines. And I never played online. I just played 4-player with my brothers. and we played on split screen or 4-player split screen, and we would just zip around the castle with our zip lines, like bouncing back and forth, just rocketing grenades at each other, and like carpeting the entire floor in grenades. It was so awesome. Like, that game is some of the most fun I've ever had playing a multiplayer shooter, and that was on a GameCube, no less. So I would really like to see that fun, whimsical James Bond come back a little bit, but not in the movies. Not the movies should stay as they are. But the games, I would like to see that come back, because the games they've been making for James Bond lately have not been that great. So that's mine.
Did you play that new one, or was it the James Bond Anniversary or whatever it was?
I didn't.
I played the demo of it. The controls were actually really tight. It actually felt a lot like how Far Cry 3 gun control works.
Mm-hmm.
Felt a lot like that. But it was just, I mean, it was basically the same. It was basically a GoldenEye redone. It looked beautiful, but it was like, I played this before, and 64 was like more fun.
Right. My
favorite thing to do in the N64 game was if you use just the silence, I think it was called the PP7, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you shoot the guys in the legs and you have it on hardcore mode, you can literally shoot them in their kneecaps at least 70 times before they die. Because you like shoot it once and you wait their animation, like,
this
and
is Joel, ladies and gentlemen.
Then you shoot them again.
This is Joel.
It was funny because right before their animation would end to shoot, you'd shoot them one more time. They'd be like, ugh.
Listen to what you're saying. Tell me why we should not call the authorities. Like, one day I'll just have to go on the news and be like, it was then that we knew.
Okay, to the FBI agents that are currently listening to this podcast, I barely know Joel, okay? Just take him away and don't come for me.
All right, so question number 2. What pre-existing open world game world, I didn't write it, he did. What pre-existing open world game world would you like to see have multiplayer in the next installment? Like DayZ, but not a knockoff. Cough, Warzy, cough. Examples: Fallout, Far Cry, and the Red Dead universe.
To come back?
No. What open world game world would you like to see have multiplayer next time they make a game?
I know what Joel's going to say on this one because he won't stop talking about it already.
Yeah, Fallout.
Of course. Well,
what did you think I wanted?
Okay, that's your number one answer, but the one you can't stop talking about is multiplayer for Far Cry 3.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Really, all we need for that is
Ubisoft.
I feel like all we need for that is a mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that would be awesome.
Definitely, if Fallout 4 adds co-op, oh my gosh, I will be in heaven. Even if Skyrim added co-op, but yeah, I mean, Fallout, I mean, imagine, I don't think like, 30, 64 players or whatever in the game, but just maybe 2 or 4 players like Borderlands,
Mm-hmm.
being able to play on extreme hardcore guys, dude, we'd have a blast, I think that game would be awesome.
All right, so Joel, you think you'd go with Fallout?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Now,
Definitely
what type
Fallout.
of multiplayer would you like to see, though?
Just co-op. I'm like, basically, I would love to be able to play the entire game the way Borderlands works, that you could let's say my friend James could join me in the game and at any time, right? Let's say, I mean, maybe you couldn't do certain story elements if you weren't progressed that far, so they would just be locked out. But any of the side quests, anything of just literally being able to explore together and, watch each other's back, even if the game like had to turn the VATS program off or whatever, that I would still love it.
Yeah.
I think there's so many different ways, but I would love to play the game on hardcore mode with like 4 other people and just see how long you can survive in that wasteland, Mm-hmm. Even if you literally couldn't do any quests, you could just roam around, talk with people, upgrade weapons, and explore. That would still be fun.
Yeah, I would be more interested in trying Fallout if that was an option, because I could play along with one of you guys who's a super fan, and you could just kind of coach me. Dave, what about you?
If I had to pick one game to make open world,
well, an already open world game that you
Right.
would like to add multiplayer to.
Well, seeing Joel took the good answer already, I'll go with the obvious one, Far Cry 3, just because this game's so smooth. Like, it's so easy to hop in and hop out and just do some quick missions, have some destruction, kill some pirates. Just adding some multiplayer to
it's
that.
so smooth, you don't mean the multiplayer now is so smooth, because the multiplayer now, the matchmaking is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even played anything besides the co-op. I haven't even tried
that's
the
what I mean. The
multiplayer.
co-op matchmaking is just utterly, hideously broken.
If they could make it so you basically transfer like a save game with a mission point, like, oh, you're on this mission, and then we load up the game and we go take out some outposts and it just works. Oh, yes, I would pay for that DLC. Ubisoft, I have no shame.
Yeah, I would very much like to try that. I think my choice, though, would be Grand Theft Auto 5. Because Grand Theft Auto 4 had multiplayer, and you think about it, if there's any open world game you want to run around in, it's Grand Theft Auto. That game is built to just be run around in.
Yeah.
But Grand Theft Auto 4, the multiplayer was ruined, or not ruined, but it was hampered by Rockstar Social Club and Games for Windows Live, which are terrible. And together, they make it extremely unfun to be online in that game.
Or even play single player.
Yeah, even play single player. Like it was nuts. I hope they don't do both of those at least for the next one.
I remember the multiplayer just wasn't fun. But what was bad about the single player? I'm not sure.
Well, the single player is awesome. But logging in, you had to log into Games for Windows Live, which wasn't always that reliable of service.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It still isn't. And that was just kind of inconvenient. But no, what I liked about the multiplayer was you could just like do cops and robbers where you're just riding around in cars, blasting people and stuff. Like, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was just Grand Theft Auto with people. Yeah. So if you could join up with people and like, what if there was a co-op mode where you could take over the city from other gangs also composed of real people and like, seize control of the city, make money, buy more cars and guns and stuff? Like, that would be awesome. Mm-hmm. That'd be so much fun. Yeah, and they already have all the assets. It's just a little extra programming and all the work they put into Grand Theft Auto games. I mean, they could add something like that if they wanted to. Now, that may not be the direction they want to go, which is understandable. But if I was in charge, that's the direction I would be taking the multiplayer as soon as possible.
I would be on board with that.
Yeah, that, oh my gosh, that could be so awesome. But yeah, that's our listener questions. If you want to ask any, again, write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com, and we would love to answer your questions on the air. Now, Joel, do you have a topic of the week prepared for us for your 90 seconds?
Yeah, I do.
Sweet. All right, now it's time for 90 Seconds with Joel, or Joel's 90 Seconds. I don't know if we need a catchy name for this.
Joel talks about something for 90 seconds.
All right, it's time for Joel Talks About Something for 90 seconds, the part of the podcast where Joel talks about something for usually longer than 90 seconds. Joel, go.
I just bought the game, just the original Fallout game on GOG.com, and they have a Mac version that it's finally working and it works well. Because I actually bought it a while ago for PC, but I couldn't get it to boot up right, and it ruined my save files. So anyways, I thought I'd try it again. Oh my word, that game is freaking hard. Have you guys ever gotten to play that game?
I never have.
I'm actually quite far. I made it to... It's crazy because I didn't realize how much of the lore they actually added into New Vegas, which is pretty sweet, or following, because I have no idea. But I got to this part where I got to meet the cons, the great cons. Mm-hmm. And, dude, this game is so brutal. I walked into a hotel. I asked if I can buy purchase get a room for the night, and literally the lady goes like, just says something kind of like, "What are you looking at?" or something like that, and then just blows me right away. I didn't say anything. I didn't even make any crude comment or say anything mean at all.
Joel didn't make a crude comment. What?
Oh, and also you know how in Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, when you go up to ask someone, you say, "Hey, I want some information," right? And they go, "Here, this place you can get some great guns." And then, let's say you forget what they said and you come back to them and they say it again, right? Well, in this game, when you ask them for information, I came back to them, the guy was like, "What do you think I am, like an information machine?" And then just blows me away. Like, I was like, dang, you do not F around with this game.
I see a theme here.
It's good though, but I'm like probably 4.5 hours in, still live. Whoa. I have a shotgun. I have 3 stim packs. I have 8, stingers from scorpions. Yeah, it's weird because it's funny. It kind of reminds me of an old RPG, almost like a Pokemon game where if you travel somewhere, you'll just randomly encounter something. Like as you're crossing the desert, you'll randomly encounter something and it'll just go into this live mode where you're in a desert and 4 bandits are around and you're just you're screwed, you're dead.
Yeah.
There's no chance. You can't run. It's a great game, though. I want to see if I can actually get far. I'm not even going to try to save the people from the vault because you have to do it within a certain amount of time frame that literally counts down. And I'm already so close to them already dying. So I'm just gonna live my life.
That doesn't sound like a game that's meant to be beaten the first time around.
No, oh gosh.
That game beats you.
So
into
Fallout,
submission.
original Fallout, glowing recommendation from Joel. How much was it from GOG?
And I think $7.
That's not too bad.
It
Okay.
goes on sale for $4 all the time, so keep an eye out for those of you guys that want it.
All right, well, that has been 90 Seconds with Joel, the part of the podcast where Joel talks about something for 90 seconds.
Ish.
Now it is time for Dave's Comment of the Week, the part of the podcast where Dave picks some of the wonderful intellectual nectar that the internet hands to us on a weekly basis, and he puts it through a voice synthesizer for all of us to listen to together.
Yeah, this is the part where I play the comment, and I'm actually kind of concerned because the synthesizer is going to have a hard time with this comment this week because there's some interesting vocabulary in here. Let's go ahead and roll that comment. And here it is.
Hee haw. Really enjoyed that. You county aka cowboys, aka mountain men. He. Thanks for the laughs. More Red Jeep adventures. And yes, I will stay off your pappy's land.
You are welcome for the laughs. We are happy to provide them. And
What just happened?
The Red Jeep Boys may very well make a return. Maybe in Wasteland, who knows? Oh, Wasteland would be an awesome game to do that in. But it wouldn't be a Red Jeep, it'd probably be the Black Suburban Boys at that point.
Build
Or,
like a
Black
fort
Suburban.
down next to Chinaris.
or the grenade
Chinaris.
launcher Hummer guys.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, not really, but so yeah, just to recap, DayZ coming soon. It's going to be awesome. There's a link to go check out the Tumblr post in the description on either of our videos, and if you're listening on iTunes, Google it. Thank you all, you guys who have subscribed through iTunes. We actually have a steady number of people downloading through there, which is pretty cool. And thank you everyone who comments and sends in questions and stuff like that. You guys make the show really fun, and we enjoy doing it. You should follow all of us. Follow me on Twitter at @GermGaming. Follow Dave at EvilViking. Follow Joel. Do you want to be followed?
On Twitter, no.
Okay, cool. You can also check us out on YouTube, Germ Gaming, Evil Viking 13, and Boundless MP. Although I don't know what you're expecting if you go to Joel's channel, but chances are it will not be what you are expecting.
It'll be so much better.
But he's entertaining,
It'll be
and
so
you can
much
finally
better.
see what his beautiful face looks like. So, maybe you should definitely go do that.
You should tell him to watch my documentary.
All right, watch.
Have you seen my documentary?
Yes, I didn't know you. I didn't know you that well at the time. I was like, "What type of ignorant junk is this?" I was like, "I can't believe Dave is friends with this moron."
Take a look on my channel. Look up the video "Dirty Homeless Planet." Grab some popcorn and just settle in for a good solid 10 minutes.
Educate yourself, learn some new things about your world.
Yeah. Or
I
just
did a
be
documentary
horrified.
about global warming, so I think you guys will really enjoy it.
Well, you could watch it. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, follow the show on Twitter at Casual Shenanigans. Yes, with no N. I eventually we'll get to the point where we don't have to say that anymore. But for now, Casual Shenanigans, no N. Right into the show at casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Before we go, does anyone have any parting shots?
The sound effect of the week, I was surprised that Dave did not know what that sound effect was.
Yeah, I failed. That was
I
terrible.
said, my wife picked out the sound effect right away in a second. She knew it was Fallout.
Now, if I can make an excuse, Joel, I never
No.
use VATS in Fallout.
You really?
Screw you. No, I mean, I never use it.
Wow.
I played through New Vegas on hardcore mode, and the only time I would ever use it is when I was, down to my last sliver of health. I needed to, just target somebody real quick to give me time to figure out what my next move was, basically.
Fair enough.
All right, and just a reminder, you're probably listening to this maybe this week, the 17th of January at, we never set a time, did we?
Yeah, that's probably a good... Oh, jeez.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Such a pro gig here.
8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. PM is very important. We have jobs. We're not playing this at 8 in the morning. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be on the lookout. First, we're going to send out a tweet with the IP address of the TeamSpeak server, and then once everyone's on that, we will pick out a Wasteland server, and we will all hop in. If you haven't played Wasteland, please hop on and play it a little bit beforehand, just so you're not asking basic questions when we're trying to get rolling. Just so you're familiar with it, because you'll have more fun if you're not trying to figure out what to do while we're all getting geared up. So it's just a custom Arma 2 mission. Just look in the Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead server browser in multiplayer and look for Wasteland servers and play a little bit, see what it's about, and have fun with us next week. We're looking forward to playing with you guys. So thank you, Joel.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dave. And thank you to all of you listeners. Have an awesome week, and we will talk to you later.
See you guys.